Good evening to my wonderful Islandish Podcast listeners and viewers. You're tuned in to episode number 6 of the podcast, and this is your girl Yams. Pleasure to have you guys here with us this evening, and we're gonna get straight into it. I have in the hot seat with me today Mr. Jordy Knowles. How you doing this evening, man?
Hey, doing good. Can't complain. Just happy to be here.
Wonderful. Appreciate you for reaching out and wanting to get on the show. You know, we don't get that often. Usually I gotta beg the people, but it's good that you reached out. So what is one of the reasons you even reached out to be on the podcast today?
I just love podcasts in general. Like, growing up, I just go on YouTube and just watch podcasts all day.
Right.
And when I saw the opportunity, I was like, I can't pass this up.
Right.
It's rare to find somebody say, hey, come on my podcast and co-host. There you go. So.
Right. Definitely. So tell my listeners and my viewers a little bit about yourself, who you are you a Grand Bahamian native, info like that.
Yeah, so I am GB born and raised. I'm an IT technician. Mm-hmm. That's my day-to-day job. I run a company called Rykno Tech Solutions.
Okay.
So building software for small businesses and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just a down-to-earth person, easy to get along with, and I enjoy basketball.
Nice. Now, Rykno Tech Solutions, you say you do software building for small businesses. Give me an example of what exactly that would entail, because a lot of small business owners love to watch Islandish Podcast. They love to be a part of everything that we do, and a lot of the stuff we do are geared towards small businesses. So what kind of solutions do you offer them?
Let's say you have a clothing line and you want to do inventory tracking.
Okay.
They're always doing it through Excel, jotting down day to day.
Right.
You come to me and say, hey, I need a solution for my inventory. I would offer a reasonable price, build it for you, and now everything is automated. You just plug in whatever you want to plug in, and it's just like that. Nice.
So it's software more so to help the ease of business for small businesses. Okay, all right. Are there any businesses locally that you've worked with?
One in Nassau.
Okay.
Actually, that's what I started off with. It's a locksmith company.
Okay.
So that was my first big venture.
Nice. So what is your educational background and where you did your educational studies?
Well, let's go back to 2015. I went to school in Houston.
Okay.
I chased the medical dream.
Right.
Did that for a minute. Then fast forward to 2018. It was like, okay, we want the funds to keep you in school. My family said, okay, things are getting tight right now. So,
right.
And I'm moving back home in 2018. So my dream is dead. But on my way to moving back home, I was like, okay, I gotta do something different.
Right.
Becoming a doctor in the Bahamas is kind of...
Yeah. I mean, you get too much into that.
Yeah,
right.
So it's a steep hill. So I was like, okay, technology.
Right.
In 10 years, technology's going to take over. So I started studying and prepping. Didn't take no exams or nothing or anything like that. But I just, wanted to do that.
Okay.
So I moved back home, 2018, and I'm working. Then 2020 hit, the pandemic.
COVID.
Free time.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me get my certifications up.
Okay.
As well. So I got that, knocked that out in 2021. Then the end of 2021 was like, there was a software engineering boot camp. So I was like, okay, I want to do this. I like this more than actually doing hardware stuff.
Okay.
So I did that. And for the most of 2022, 10 months in, finished, graduated, and ended up building websites like that. Then after that, think about that a little bit. Let me go to 2023. The Port Authority said, put out this program called the Tech Edge program.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, so I said, let me hop on that. So I actually hopped on that, and it was a mobile applications course I took up. So we finished up in last year, December, graduated, so now I have these skill sets now. I could build a website, I could build mobile apps. So I said, you know what, let me start a business.
All right.
Because finding a job right now, the job market is kind of tough.
Don't make no sense, right?
Right. And the technology sector in the Bahamas is...
lacking.
There you go.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me try this on my own. Let me put myself out there and, move forward. So here we are now.
Nice. The thing about it that I could really relate to your story about is you technically went to school for medicine, but now you're in technology. I went to college for psychology. I was an entertainer who was talk on the radio. I completely pivoted away from that.
Yeah.
So would you say you wasted your time in college, or are you still able to utilize, if not your formal education, some of the things you learned while you were in college?
With that skill set, I realized that I like to help people. So working in IT in the day to my day-to-day job, it actually pans out. 'Cause
Right.
I'm helping internal customers with their day-to-day tasks. So everything kind of flows in a sense.
Okay. I understand what you're saying with that. And as someone who has lived abroad, you say you were in Houston for that was like about 3 years or so.
Yeah.
So with you living over there, was the transition back home difficult or not?
Yeah. I mean,
In what ways?
we go from everything on demand in like 2 seconds.
Right.
Now it's, I want to buy some shoes now. I got to wait 2 weeks. Then I got to pay VAT. Got to pay shipping. I'm like, I used to one-day delivery now. Amazon
Right.
Prime had me spoiled. So now it's just certain stuff like that. Just, Freeport's limited in going out seeing. So it's
Right.
like the same spots every weekend. That's all we got.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I could definitely relate to that because I've been to Houston several times. I've also been to Austin. I've been to a lot of places in Texas, just to sum it up. And I know, like you said, with the social scene, it's so much different things to do. By the time you think you've seen everything, something new starting to open up. That's how fast-paced it is. So how would you compare the social scene over there to somewhere like Freeport?
in Houston, there's somebody new every day.
Uh-huh.
Over here, you're seeing the same people every
All the
weekend.
time.
So it's just like, some weekends I'll just stay home because it's like, let's say go chances or something. I'll see the same batch of people again. It's like, it's kind of like deja vu in a sense. I'm like, I'm always seeing you in there. What's going on?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, that's understandable. Now let's get back to the business side of it. With the technology background that you have and how you're helping businesses with a lot of the solutions, what are some of the struggles you're having as it comes to getting clients to understand the services that you offer?
Basically, I need to do more marketing to put myself out there. As an entrepreneur, it's like, I have the technical aspect, but as you know, it's different cogs into a machine.
Right.
So it's like, I need to do better at marketing, putting myself out there, just handling the business aspect of, funding and how do I, let's just say I have $1,000. How do I split this up
Right.
and make sure this goes as far as I could go and stretch it?
Right.
So that's my kind of my goal right now. Actually, I'm inside I'm doing something for Access Accelerator, so like a workshop they're doing for the month of August. I joined it last week, and I was like, it's teaching me so much about other business aspects other than the technical aspect, like I said.
Right.
So teaching me more and more to your logo design, reaching customers, knowing your niche, all that stuff plays a part.
Definitely. I'm happy that you're talking about this and now you're taking me down the road I actually wanted to go towards with this conversation. As someone who is starting a new business, and you did say that the tech industry that we all know is lacking. So what do you think is going to be the one thing that you will have to do to separate your business from the other tech businesses on the island?
Just show them that I'm creating solutions. I'm not just building a regular website to say, okay, you just go to, like you say, Islandish.com. Just go to that and that's it. I'm creating solutions where you could do more with it.
Right.
You could, specialize it in a sense where you could do bookings on your Islandish website or, host anything that you want to host on there.
Nice. So it's like you actually solving the problems for the business rather than just giving them, all right, you want a website, cookie cutter, same old website everybody have. That's actually good, and that's something a lot of people actually need. And some advice I could give you, even as someone who handles marketing a lot of times, sometimes, especially in Freeport, people get hesitant about putting themselves out there too much. You want to wait till you have everything perfect. Like, I already have my logo, I already have my brand kit all together. I know exactly how I want to look. I just make one flyer and put that out there and circulate that. Everything else will flow and follow suit. Because it is very difficult making the penny stretch especially like $1,000, that don't do much when it comes to marketing. If you really want to have good, sustainable marketing over a long period of time. But I always tell my clients, but just start small. If you ain't ready to launch the Facebook page yet, then just circulate a flyer with your number on it and get those couple of clients. Because all you need in free, people don't know this, you only need 4 consistent clients to really start your small business. And from that point, they'll all end up referring you to someone else. Or they'll be like, but who this players you always working with? And it'll just trickle down and go down further from there. But let's talk more about your transition back to Freeport and deciding to go into business. Was it really that difficult to find a job that it forced you to start your own business? Or are you a full-time worker who also has a side hustle, which is your business?
Well, I am a full-time worker. And, you know, I'm a regular IT technician just doing hardware. I want to transfer to the software side, but I found it hard. Like I said, I went into IT 2022. You know, we're still recovering from COVID, you know, all that job losses and everything, what happened globally.
Right.
You know, that's happening. So it's like, okay, this ain't, what I want ain't happening right now, but I have the power to create what I want. So I was like, okay, let me see how far I could go with this business. Let's see how far I could reach. So that's what made me decide to say, okay, let me go and create my company. Okay.
So that was more so like a betting on yourself moment for you. Really and truly.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't bet on yourself, you know, you'll never know you'll never know your limitations at the end of the day.
Right.
Like, you'll never know, okay, how far could I reach? You know, working a 9 to 5, you're just doing your day-to-day tasks.
Right.
They're not really challenging you. You're just doing your job at the end of the day.
Right.
But when you reach home after 5, it's like you have 4 hours, you know, 4 hours of free time. So why not just bet on yourself and say, okay, let me see how far I can do this. Let me just try this and see if I do this every day. Can I reach for the moon or the stars? Or, you know, let's see where I land.
Right, because earlier you did mention that you really started to do all your certification courses and things like that during COVID, where a lot of people had downtime. So do you feel like that was the solid? Because in my opinion, I feel like everybody has that moment where it's like, mother sick, I passed this class, or I win this competition, or I get this grant, and it solidifies or confirms something for you that, boy, I really could do this. So was taking those certifications and taking that leap, I could do this moment? Or was it something else?
Yeah, it was that moment, basically. Like, it was like, okay, if I really lock in for, let's say, 3 to 6 months, I could achieve anything I want to. So just getting those certifications, you know, because before COVID, you had to travel in Nassau.
Right.
Now, COVID happened, everything's online.
Zoom.
So that's like a blessing in disguise. So I was like, okay, I can just pay the regular $300, get my certification, no extra fees, and that's it. So just doing that and achieving that, I was like, okay, I got 1, and I'm getting 2. Then, you know, just keep counting going up after that.
It's good. And I'm happy that you even mentioned that in terms of COVID, because people sometimes look at COVID and look at the pandemic and the lockdowns and all of that and look at it as a negative thing. But when it comes to progress, especially in your area, which is IT and technology, the government and the Bahamas made major leaps when it comes to that in terms of what they could offer, especially on the Family Islands. After COVID, the food and safety certificate was online. You could have do that. They made it more efficient with getting your passport and things done digitally. So IT is really and truly starting to lead the way a lot. And before we started the podcast, you mentioned that you won a program recently, something tourism related. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so after I finished the Tech Edge program, like I said, I was looking for something to do. I have these skills now, I want to use them. So back in, let's say, March, so I just fly on IG. It was a 50-50 pitch competition. So I was like, you know what, let me throw my hand in, right? But let me backtrack a second. I was in UB Ignite.
Okay, yeah. Took in those courses, right?
Yeah, I was like, you know what, UB Ignite, let me see what this is about. Didn't finish, and then dropping out because conflicting schedules.
Right.
But one of the advisors I met with, he was like, create a tourism app, right? So I was like, okay. I ain't really too fond of that, but I'll try it out. So I saw the flyer. Say, let me try my hand. So I registered. They contacted me in July. They was like, okay, your pitch competition is, well, June actually. Then July was like, your pitch competition. So that happened. So I'm prepping for the next month or two. So the day of, leading up to it, I'm trying to make sure everything's in order.
Right.
So when I go there, I'm just, ready to say, okay, if this don't work, then maybe this ain't for you.
Right.
That was my mindset. So I go in, sit down, I'm just super locked in and focused. Everybody's all, shaking hands like, oh, hey. The other contestants just, happy to meet each other. I'm just locked in, sitting down like,
Focus.
I gotta get this money.
In the zone.
I gotta get this money. So the pitch starts, I was number 8 or 9. There's like 11 of us. So I was kind of, just watching like, okay, seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I was like, okay. So did my pitch. Everybody clapped like it was a good pitch. And then after that, they did the placement. I came fourth. I wanted to come first, but I came fourth, so it was like, okay. But even though leaving with some money, it showed me that, hey, I could do this.
Yeah.
So that kind of pushed me to say, okay, just keep going because you never know where you might end up.
Right, just from giving it a try and giving it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this conversation is going really well. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, but then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about pivoting and betting on yourself in business.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl. Join us here on Superior Talk Bahamas YouTube channel every Tuesday at 6 for Let's Talk,
Where we talk about issues that matter to you. We try to come up with workable, practical solutions so we have more action and less talk.
See you on Tuesday.
So we are back with Islandish Podcast here with Mr. Jordy Knowles talking all about pivoting and risking and betting it all on yourself in business. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the, the fears that comes with pivoting. Because for you to go from studying medicine or wanting to be a doctor in school to now being in IT, were you, I'd say, disappointed or upset when you had to leave college or leave at that time because you weren't able to finish?
Yeah, because like going to college is like a straight shot. You just do your work, you pass the classes, get the degree, then you get the job.
Right. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go.
Right.
Correct. So I didn't achieve that. So it was always like a bittersweet feeling. It's like I didn't get that. So I was like, okay, like you say, I have to pivot. What to do? I worked at a hotel before. I worked memories. I was like, I don't go back to the hotel industry. I don't have no skills, no degree. What's the quickest industry to get into? IT.
Right. So you spent that time doing the courses, doing the work, and getting into IT. So do you have any regrets when it comes to that, or do you feel like you're right where you're supposed to be?
Life is so funny, and the way God do things is just amazing. Like, the way I want things to go, it's not going to go the way it goes on what he wants to happen. So everything kind of panned out. Like, looking back, it'd be like, wow, I see why X happened. Because why had that happen? So certain doors close, greater doors open.
Okay. That's a good, safe answer. I see what you did there. But that was a good answer because I know sometimes, especially for me, when I went to UB, because I went to Nassau to do my degree, and I did finish. But even still, while I was getting it, and as I was getting ready to finish and getting ready to graduate with a psych degree, I was like, I really know what I can do with this degree, But I have it, and I could use it. But my first job out of college was working in a bank as an assistant to the president of the bank. So it's like, this ain't really got nothing to do with psychology, but I get the job, so I wasn't mad. But even talking about it when it comes to pivoting, do you feel like you would have even been happy working in medicine, or you can't even, or you wouldn't know because it never happened?
Well, probably would have never known because it didn't happen. But I guess just being over there, and the U.S. is so advanced,
right?
I would have enjoyed it, but I don't think that was my passion, per se.
Right.
So dealing with computers, I guess, from young. I guess people always say, like, oh, yeah, you're so good at computers. But I just brush it off like, you know what? I'm going to do medicine.
Right.
I graduated with 2012. So it's like growing up in that era, it's like you become a doctor, lawyer. The generic, you know.
Yeah, I feel like everybody around that time is either doctor, lawyer, or accountant.
Yeah. So I wish I grew up now and like there's more to do now. Like, you know, for like females, you guys got nail techs, you got, you know.
We always had nail techs and beauticians.
But like the hustle economy now, I feel like females are leading the charge. Like you guys are getting it in a sense of like entrepreneurship. Like you guys are just pushing yourself forward. Y'all getting together and say, okay, you do lashes, you do waxes, you know, let's get a shop and, you know, make things happen.
Right. That's true. And I'm happy that you mentioned that a little bit for real. I do see a lot more women being very successful in entrepreneurship. And I don't know why, and they probably can get mad at me for saying this. A lot of times in a lot of programs like to focus on, let's do women empowerment, let's do something just for the women. But I feel like there's so much things just for women. There aren't a lot of programs anymore that are exclusively for men. Like it's not a lot of programs in tech where it's like, all right, this is a tech program just for men, or this is a scholarship program just for young men. It's a lot of things that are exclusively for women, but not things that are exclusively for men. And as someone who's been off to school, what is your opinion on that?
Last year I realized that SBDC, Access Accelerator, they launched a Women Initiative program, right?
Yeah, man, love that program. Big ups.
So I saw that and I was like, dang. I wish the men had that, like, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I wish we had that, you know, that place to where we just come together and, you know, plan out and build businesses. But I do love, like, they're doing it for women. Like, you know, they're pushing themselves forward, whereas you control your own schedule, become your own boss. You get to control what you want to do.
Right.
So it's like, it's amazing to see.
Yeah. And you said you were in that pitch competition earlier this year. How many of that, would you say it was like about like 10, 11 of you? How many of them were women?
2 males.
Okay, see?
2 males in there.
See?
I was the only male that won money.
Proves my point. Proves my point. But I think they do have something in the pipeline for that, because I did see a flyer where they were asking for surveys like about...
Yeah, I filled that out.
Yeah.
Like,
so you saw...
It's time for us to get some, you know.
Right, get some focus and get some shine. I like that. So do you feel that because things are... Because now we're going to talk about it on a social standpoint now. Do you feel like that's the reason why men and women have so much conflict? Because women are now trying to be so dominant and so entrepreneur and big boss woman that a lot of times that intimidates men, or you don't feel like that intimidates men at all?
I mean, the status quo right now is that females are, like you say, girl bosses are up right now.
Right.
And, you know, people are saying that young male adults don't want to push themselves.
Right.
I feel like we don't really have, like you said, we don't really have that place where we could go and channel our focus and figure out what we like to do.
Right.
There are more women initiatives where it's like, you know, they get to do that. They get to decide, get the funding, and say, okay, like you said, the lashes, the nails, the waxing, all that stuff, which I think is great. Like, I respect it. It's like, you're working a 9 to 5, you get off, you're going to do lashes, like, you're creating your own lifestyle in a sense,
right.
which I think is amazing.
Right.
So I support it, but I wish it would be equal to, or not even equal, but like half and half or close to half, where the males actually get that chance to, you know, try and do something.
Yeah, because I agree with you on that, because I do feel like a lot of pressure is put on men just to make money, but not really to find their passions or do something that they're actually passionate about and like to do. Like with you, you said you did medicine. You didn't even know if that was really a passion or not. That was just something like at that time, you either do this, or this. It's not really like, no, but I really want to be a doctor. I love doing surgery. I love XYZ. So when it comes to that, what do you feel are some of the types of programs or types of things they could offer that you feel men your age would be receptive to?
We're in the digital age, so anything more like creative, like, I feel like they should offer. The generic, you know, we got the welding programs,
right.
Everything by BTVI. We could do that. That's still great, but look around the world. You got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, Facebook. Like, push people towards that, like, in a sense that, like, you can create your own world now.
Right.
Create what you want to do. Create your own brand. So try to get people more Because people growing up younger than us,
Yeah.
digital age,
Yeah.
they see things that, they're doing things that, TikTok dances, all that stuff,
Right.
marketing themselves, like, they know how to market themselves. Me, growing up, we didn't have, we just had Facebook.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
And high five.
there you go,
Right.
high five. I was at the later stage of high five. But, like, we didn't market.
Right.
Now you got TikTok creating your own videos, get an audience, probably end up getting paid, sponsorship. Like, there's so much opportunities now, whereas, like, as a country, as an island, we have to branch out and try to let the youth dive into these things and let them know that they're possible.
Right, yeah. I agree with that because a lot of times, especially like you said, a lot of young people are growing up with social media. It's not like with us where it was growing as we were growing. They're born in it. Like, this is how it is. They are born, and by the time they're 7, they have tablets. I didn't have my first phone until I was in grade 7 or grade 9. So it's like some of them having phones from they in grade 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they're able to use phones, and they're a lot more tech savvy, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it also, like you said, creates more avenues when it comes to business and opportunity. They could get paid as an influencer while they're in high school. They could be a model from in high school just because they have a big following. A boutique could be like, all right, I want to wear my clothes and put it on TikTok and do a TikTok video. That's marketing. And small children are actually now getting paid for that. So with that type of conversation and sticking more towards the male side of it, because another thing I really want us to talk about is, and that's something that I've heard a lot of people say, they feel like it's because men aren't proving to be as smart as women education-wise. Do you think that's true? Or that information is probably skewed because they ain't really asking a lot of men?
Probably skewed.
Okay.
We have a lot of intelligent guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's doable. I guess, like you say, Instagram, you could probably set up your own clothing shop. I think more girls go to that because it's like, it's easier to sell female clothing than male clothing.
That's true.
Our shirts ain't cheap.
Right.
You go on Fashion Nova, what y'all use? What else y'all use? Shein.
Fashion Nova, Shein.
The little...
Pretty Little Things.
There you go. So
right.
it's like, you have these options to sell this clothes, or probably get like a warehouse full of clothes to start your business,
Mm-hmm.
and you know that females will come and buy it. Guys, be more skeptical in the sense like, where you get this shirt from? This probably ain't Nike. They're saying Ralph Lauren. They're saying Tommy.
Right.
There you go.
True Religion. It have to be a certain brand. Yeah. So do you think that's also one of the reasons why when it comes to creating programs, because this is a hard conversation that people don't want to admit to, but pleasing women is kind of cheap. No offense. And why I say that and what I mean when I say that, in terms of the things we need on a day-to-day are much cheaper than what men need, if you think about it. And like you said, even with the clothing, a girl could probably spend $55 on Shein and get like 30 pieces of clothes, like a top, couple skirts, this, that, couple dresses. Where with a guy, his one shirt is $30.
Yeah.
Sometimes his socks is be $20, depending on the type of socks. So when it comes to that, is it more expensive to have a male audience than it is a female audience?
Well, when it comes to clothing, yes.
Okay.
Because...
And lifestyle sometimes.
Well, that too. That could play a factor. I mean, to each their own. But if you're talking about clothing, like... Okay, that's a lifestyle. Let's say, okay, go to the barber.
Mm-hmm.
Haircut is 25, 35, depending on what I get.
Right.
So that's 35 ready, 35 in. Shoes, you're not going to wear some cheap shoes.
No.
You'll be wearing Nike, Adidas, whatever your favorite shoes
Yeah,
is.
and man fees be
Jordans.
big, and that's make
There
it
you go.
expensive.
So let's say you're spending $120, $150. So almost $200 in the hole. We ain't reached the fit yet.
Yeah, we only on the shoes and the haircut. We done $250 in.
So let's say the shirt is $70, jeans $80. Ready, couple hundred in. So
Jesus,
it's like
cringe. Okay,
so
and not even jewelry.
there you go. So you add in the jewelry. You probably almost close to $1,000 if you put everything together. Because it's like
Right,
you want to look your best when you go out. You don't want to come out half stepping it. In anything. So
right,
it becomes very expensive for a meal.
right.
So
And then even on the female side of it, a lot of times even, and women know this, y'all know this, don't lie. When we don't have the money for something, we can make it happen. Like even with our hair can be expensive, but if you have to do your hair, You could do that yourself if you can't make it to the hairdresser. You could get one of your homegirls to slip your hair in one ponytail, get one pack of $18 Kanakalan hair, make one little bun, or make one braided ponytail, and that's your hairstyle and you're ready to go, boom, 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 boom. But with a guy, ain't no boy about to try and cut his own hair or give himself a line up if you don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
So that makes it really difficult. So talking about it back on the business side of it, do you think that men actually do want more of these programs, or is it just like men just trying to work and make money?
I think.
And don't lie.
I think we do want these programs because at the end of the day, you want to live good.
Mm-hmm.
And if your day-to-day job isn't offering that, you have to look somewhere else.
Right.
I mean, you could climb the corporate ladder. How long would it take?
Yeah.
You know? But I do believe we do want these programs where it's like you get to earn more, as in society we look at men as providers, right? So betting on yourself and starting your own business, that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, I can end up earning more than my day-to-day. I got to have both side by side, and I'm taking care of my family, doing more things and taking care of those around me is like the ultimate goal.
Okay, nice. We're going to take another commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk more with Mr. Jordy Knowles and about his company, Rykno Tech Solutions.
Yo, what's up, Bahamas? My name is Andrew Williams, aka Cat.
And I'm your boy Mix.
And we're representing Off the Bench, the number one talk sportcast in the Bahamas.
In the world, my boy.
My bad partner. So
Yeah.
we cover anything sports throughout the Bahamas. We cover our Bahamian athletes wherever they are, and they're making waves in sports. We cover them.
Hey, just tune in to us every Wednesday here on Superior Talk at 6 o'clock p.m.
The number one talk show
In the world, Craig.
Welcome back to Islandish Podcast here with Mr. Jordy Knowles, and we're going to dive into everything related to Rykno Tech Solutions. So, why the name Rykno, first off?
Okay, so last name is Knowles, middle name is Raya. Take the first two letters off of Raya, that's R-Y. Take the first three letters off of Knowles, K-N-O. Rykno Tech.
Okay, that makes sense. Little bit, it makes sense. Now I see it, because then it's like rhino, where you're trying to go for the animal rhinoceros, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then when you see how it's spelled, it's R-Y-K-N-O. So I get it, I understand. So when it comes to technology services and the work that you're offering, do you find it hard to reach a Bahamian clientele?
Yeah, because, I don't think people are privy or aware to, like, the power of technology and what it could do for your business.
Right.
We're still stuck in, like I said, our olden day of just using Microsoft solutions, whereas Word, Excel, all that stuff, whereas you got a system created for you, everything becomes easy, especially the entrepreneur, you're starting out by yourself. You don't have the money, the funds. That's the hard thing to get. So it's better to use a solution that works for you and benefits you in a sense, whereas you're spending so much money, you're losing cash flow, you're not reaching. Them first 5 months probably going to be rough.
Right.
Starting out any business, because it's like, what am I doing? What would I reach? But once you have a solid system in place, I believe that it can help you or kind of mitigate and propel you further than to, just do the Excel sheet. You're behind now. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
Data's lost. Everything's all over the place. Like, you're trying to track everything. But I believe technology kind of, remedies that and solves that solution in a sense.
Awesome. So when it comes to even, because you said solving problems, especially for small businesses, and you also talked about a lot of businesses not really understanding how well it can be for them as a business, especially early out. So with that being said, what type of solutions are you trying to offer small businesses? I know you mentioned inventory software as one of them, but let me know a few more solutions that you have in mind to offer the Bahamian small business person.
Okay, so get back to the tourism pitch competition. I pitched a mobile app called Island Hopper where it helps tourists find local businesses.
Okay.
So let's say you're starting out, let's say you have a Kong stand up in West End, you want to reach tourists. You come on the app, and what they'll see, you pay a subscription actually, to make yourself visible. It's kind of like marketing in a sense, whereas you don't have to go market yourself. We'll actually do that for you.
Okay.
Where you just, put yourself out there. They go on the app. They'll get directions to you, know your pricing. Or let's say you got a tour company. You're doing tours. You could actually make a tour, let the tourists book through Island Hopper.
Okay.
And they'll actually, get the information. And when the time comes, it's ease of access.
Okay. Because it'll have the map to show you where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds lit. It sounds really lit. So that's one example. Give me another type of solution other than inventory. And then you mentioned the Island Hopper. What's another type of solution your business is offering?
Basically anything you need where it's, you're trying to, let's say you have a company where you can keep track of your workers, you're doing HR management in a sense. We could actually build that up for you where, like you said, you're a small business. You don't have the funds to actually go and purchase some large software or pay a large subscription.
Or hire someone.
There you go. So we'll build that for you, whereas you have this small solution where you can actually manage and see what your employees are doing, track their payouts and everything like that.
Nice. And these are solutions that are a bit on the expensive side, moderate, or inexpensive? Or it depends?
Depends on your budget.
Okay.
We could tailor it to your budget, whereas you don't need something with all the full features. You need something, specialized to you.
Right.
So that would, let us have the opportunity to create something that works for you within your budget.
Okay, awesome. Because I think that's one a lot of people's fears when they hear tech, and especially when they hear marketing. They know that can be expensive, that can be pricey. I ain't dealing with that right now. Mm-hmm. People usually focus a lot of their funds when it comes to their business on inventory and operations. They're not really thinking about tech services, and they ain't really thinking about marketing at the forefront. Do you think that's an error sometimes in some business mindsets?
Yeah, let's say you build up East.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna know you there?
Very true. Very true.
You build a state-of-the-art building. You're selling the top of the line products. How are we gonna know you're up East?
Right.
So it's like marketing is goes hand in hand these days. If you don't market, how would you know? Even Islandish, I saw marketing play as a big point for you.
Huge. That's why we're on the podcast. It's all about the marketing. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm happy that you mentioned that too, because even with all that we're doing with Islandish, with the podcast and with the radio and everything like that, it's important to have tech solutions to be able to manage all of these different things, to have certain software that automatically blasts certain information out to let people know, all right, the show about to start, or blasting information about a deal or an event we helping to promote that's coming up. So certain things like that, you need tech solutions to make those happen, because I can't blast it out if I sit in here talking. That have to be able to happen on its own. And tech solutions help those things to happen. Mm-hmm. So with you being someone who's participated in programs like the SBDC program, we talk about the 50-50 pitch and all of that. Do you think that those type of programs are actually helpful in our community, or do you think that some of the criterias exclude certain people?
When it comes to the tourism one, just give it a shot.
Right.
You don't know how far you'll go or end up. Just give it a shot. Even when I did it, I was I'll just try it out. Mm-hmm. You don't know what could happen.
Right.
You could end up winning if you actually try. Like I said, I was it was 2 meals. I heard there was supposed to be more people there, but they didn't come. So it was just come. Just give it a shot. Try it out. If you fail, you're going to fail in life.
Right.
But the best thing to do is just get back up. Give it a second try. Keep going. If it didn't work, tinker with it a little bit. Alter it. But keep going. Because the goal is the goal. So you want to reach far, just keep pushing yourself, no matter what happens.
I like your mindset about it too. I feel and I could be overstepping, but I feel probably your experiences with school and then having to pivot like that, it helped you to be a lot more fearless. Because a lot of people, trust me, I talk to a lot of people are anxious and scared about making steps because they're afraid of failure, or they're afraid of trying something and then it not work and having to start over. Do you feel that some of your past experiences have helped you to be more fearless in taking risk on yourself?
That too. But as I get older, I turned 29, April 12th. It's my birthday.
Big ups.
Turned 29, right? And I was I'm almost 30.
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to say? Tell my kids, hey, dad did this, dad did that. And I was like, at some point I have to try and venture out. Like, I just can't keep living the same. I can't keep playing it safe. I have to venture out and try new things. So I guess 29 is my get myself out there more kind of year.
Right.
Because, like, I'd always say I want to do it. Like, you can always talk that talk and say, we at the bar chilling, like, yeah, man, I want to do this and that, and, X, Y, and Z. But, like, to put yourself out there takes a lot. And just, like I said, doing the venture pitch showed me, like, it's possible. And then you put your mind to, it's possible. You just have to put that work in and stay focused.
Right.
So, like I said, 29 just showed me, like, hey, it's the last year 20s, you're getting older.
But 29 ain't old, though. Why are you making it sound like that's an ancient age? 29 is not that old. And the only reason I say this is because I done past 29, and I refuse to call myself old. I ain't old, babe. Don't call me old.
People just call me sir now, and I'm not used to that. So
say people call me sir. What else they supposed to call you?
I don't know, but, like, I just used to people just saying, hey. Now it's like, oh, yes, sir. Like, the young kids would be like, I'm not, like you say, I'm not that old.
Right.
I don't feel that old.
Right.
But I look that old to them, I guess, in that sense, like seniority and all that stuff. But
you got the full beard. You got to remember, some people just only got the peach fuzzing.
I get it. So, yeah, I guess, when I turned 29, I was just like, okay, time to get to work. I got
Stop wasting time.
Your 20s just would enjoy life. You always feel like, in your 20s, like, I'm never going to age. I'm just going to,
Yeah, I got time.
And then time keeps going and going year by year. I'll never forget, like, when I moved back home, the first question I was asked, like, just to bring it back to your male question, like, they asked me, what am I going to do? Like, how you going to figure this out? So, like, from then I was just like, okay, it's just me in the situation. Like, family, ain't going to really help me. Nobody really in my corner, so it's like, what am I going to do? And I just stuck with me throughout the rest of my 20s, where it's like, okay, nobody can do it for you at the end of the day.
Right.
If you don't try for yourself,
that's
ain't nobody can put you there.
Right.
So you have to, like, look within, spend some time with yourself, and just understand, like, okay, to reach where I want to go starts with me. That's the most important factor.
All right. I like that you said that, too. My question would be, do you think that there are a lot of pressures on men to succeed and to make money and to just be doing something? Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on men when it comes to that, more than there is on women?
That's an interesting question.
Don't lie. Be honest.
Oh, man. It is a pressure. Because, like, the general public thinks, like, okay, you're a man, you work, take care of your woman, your girlfriend, your wife. Like, that's your job at the end of the day. That's, gender rules in a sense. So, it is a lot of pressure. And some people probably can't handle it, where it's like, I wasn't taught, or I wasn't equipped to handle this. So, nobody taught me that life would be this hard, that I had to do, more. Like, coming from COVID, we have to do more.
Right.
Like, I'm sure at some point you was like, okay, working a regular job ain't enough.
No.
I know I could do more.
Right.
I know I could push myself further.
Right.
So I think, like I said, COVID taught us, like, working is good, but when everything stops, what do you really have?
Right. That's big facts. Yeah, but if this job you have right now shut down, what you have saved in the bank, what you can make happen, what skills you could fall back on if you can't rely on your safety or your main crutch or your main means of making money. But I really feel that a lot of times there's a lot of pressure on men when it comes to being successful in doing something, to the point where men sacrifice their passions and dreams just because I just need to be working so I can take any job I could get. I don't care if I don't like it. The point is I'm making money, I feeding my family, and that's all that matters. So the point where a lot of men bitter way. Like, they bitter and they mad and they upset and they flying off the handle mad about something, and it's usually because a lot of their dreams died, a lot of their passion died, and so much time has gone by that they can't get back, or they get stuck, like you say, in that cycle of doing the same routine over and over, talking about these great ideas they have, but never actually stepping out and taking that risk and be like, you know what, I serious, I can actually go sign up for this program for real. Yeah, I talking about starting this business. Now I can take this money and buy this business license for true, and make that leap and make that step. So what'll be some of your advices when it comes to trying to help men jump from off that, say, hamster on a wheel and try to do something different?
Support groups. I think we need more male support groups at the end of the day. You know, like the point back, you know, females have that.
That sisterhood, boy.
Yeah, that's very strong. So more support groups is very important because doing it by yourself is scary at the end of the day. Like, nobody's around you. It's just you. You know, your family might say, oh, you're a male, so
figure it out.
Get it done.
Toughen up. You're supposed to be a man. Figure it out. And you're very right. We don't have enough support groups and enough men empowerment in our community to train men and make them feel like, boy, I know this hard out here, but, you know, let's bond together. Let's make this happen. Let's get this done. So we're going to take another quick commercial break, and then we come back. We're going to wrap up this amazing conversation we're having with Mr. Jordy Knowles.
Where you going, mate?
To go buy these tickets for the party tonight.
Why this boy so dumb?
Tickets242.com.
You know how hard it is? They sell tickets for parties, concerts, plays, sporting events, everything. You know how expensive bus is? Well, if you just buy the tickets online, they could just send you it in the email. Then you could just print it off. You know how strong mosquitoes is? Or you could go to the box office downtown or the Genesis Street Girl. You ain't scared of Joneses, eh?
And we're back with the Islandish Podcast here with Mr. Jordy Knowles, having some amazing conversations. And when we left, we were talking about the need for more men support groups, men empowerment programs in our community. And this is an amazing, amazing conversation. We're going to try to wrap up for you guys who've been tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Superior Talk YouTube channel, as well as the Islandish 242 channels and pages, so you guys can get instant notifications as to when new episodes are coming up and see more of the great shows we have right here on Superior Talk. Now, Jordy, I love that we left off when we were talking about the need for more men support groups. Why do you feel there aren't as many, with so many men? Because I feel like I know a lot of men who are business owners. Some are doing well, some just getting by. Why do you feel there aren't more men support groups or men empowerment programs in our community?
Well, like I said earlier, we're taught to get it on our own. Where actually there's power in numbers.
Right, big facts.
If we link up and communicate more, we could achieve more. And, you know, I just wish that, you know, let's say the older people, you know, they actually come through and say, okay, hey, let's do a men's initiative where, you know, you come together, you learn how to start a business, how to make a way for yourself. But now that raised the question, it's up to the persons who want to learn. Like,
right.
Are you able to receive, you know,
help?
There you go.
And support.
You know, because as man, you know, growing up, I ain't gonna lie, I was stubborn. Like, you can't tell me what to do. Like, it's like, what? You saying, hey, do it this way. But I understood it too. It's like, you seeing it from your point of view. Like,
right.
Growing up, you know, let's say you're like 20 years older than me. You only see it from the 20 years point of view. You don't see the future point of view. So you have to be wary too. Where you're taking advice from. Whereas, like, I'm young now. I need futuristic advice. I don't need, you know, advice from 20 years ago. I mean, that could work still, but it's like I'm trying to go ahead, not back. So
you feel like, as now I can cause you get into the hot seat and get in a little bit of trouble. Do you feel like someone older than you can't possibly give you advice on things to be or things to come, or it's few people who can give you that type of advice, especially men?
Depends on who. Depends who you're getting the information from. Not saying that someone older than you can't give the proper advice, but take it in a sense of, like, you know, halfway. Like, understand what they're saying. They may not see your vision. They might just see, you know, okay, he's working, he's just doing this. Do what I do 20 years ago. I can't work in this day and age. 20 years ago, you know, things were different. Now, you know, everything's just moving fast at a fast pace.
Okay. And it also sounds like are you speaking from experience, from advice you have gotten in the past that you feel like, all right, that don't really apply to what I'm dealing with right now? That's what you're speaking from?
Yeah, for example, let's say you work in an office job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Woman inside the department tell you, say, or female inside the department tell you, say, okay, go get a loan, go buy a house. I say, okay. Only making, let's say, $15K a year. I
Right.
was to go get a loan or a mortgage. Go
Or
find this-
$15K, yeah, that's not realistic.
Gas is what, $5.35
A gallon.
You see, they say food prices are rising.
Ridiculous.
So it's like, how do I sustain this in the long run?
I understand what you're saying with that, because even sometimes I feel like a lot of, and this may be a slight towards some people, I'm sorry if you're offended, but some persons who are of an older age or from an older generation, they aren't aware that things have changed so much, especially when it comes to the job market, loans, banking, opportunities. Some of them are still paying off mortgages and loans they got from 10, 15 years ago, and they ain't realizing that the application process to get the loan they currently still paying off, that process completely changed. The requirements are completely different, and it can take me 10, 15 years to even be able to qualify for that type of loan that you now was able to build your duplex and triplex and have your different plazas and da. It ain't like that no more. And the banks are making it a lot more difficult to take out loans because of the delinquent loans people have been having from
Right.
10, 15, and 20 years ago. So I completely understand what you're saying from that standpoint. But staying on the topic of men and support groups, you also mentioned that when you was younger, you was real stubborn. We can stick on that right there. Because I feel like a lot of times the reason why there aren't a lot of men support groups is because, like you said, men feel like they don't have safe spaces to ask for help or to show weakness per se. Or like, boy, I really ain't got this all figured out. And when they do that, sometimes they get shunned by women or they get turned away by family members and friends. Do you feel like that is the case? And would you be willing to talk a little bit more about that?
It's just, I guess for me, speak for me, like, okay, grew up without my father inside my life, so that was like a knock. So it's like, I don't know who to talk to. My mother, that's a female, so she don't really understand the male hardship in a sense. So it's like,
That's very true. That's just the straight up facts of it.
so it's like, who do I talk to? I didn't really have, that figure. Or if I did, it wasn't for long. So it's like, it's just me. I had to figure it out through my trials and tribulations at the end of the day.
Right.
So it's just, I understand it's rough.
Right.
And it's going to take some time. I think it comes all down to if you're patient to work with the person.
Right.
And understand where they're coming from. Like, on the outside, most of us are hard-coded. Like, you have to break that code on
Right,
and
yeah.
get to the soft side. So it's like, just have some patience and take some time with the person. Because we all go through things at the end of the day.
Right.
Everybody's life is stressful. We're all trying to figure it out at the end of the day. People probably older than us ain't figured it out yet. So
Facts.
it's like, just, have some patience and have some grace.
Yeah. Especially when dealing with men.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like that's something a lot of us women, especially us women who are entrepreneurs and go-getters, are something very hard for us to do because we feel like, wait, just go to it. It ain't always that easy sometimes for a man to hold on everything he have to hold on and go chase his dreams because you still expect a man to be a man, but you want that man to also be a dreamer. And a lot of times, even me as being a woman, being a daughter, who did have my dad and my brothers and certain men in my life who I know, like, but if I fall on hard times, I can just call one of them.
Right.
They can help me out regardless. I said sister, I said daughter, they ain't gonna tell me no. But then, I guess because I'm not a guy, I couldn't understand that, oh yeah, but no, he ain't can just tell me yeah. They can ask me 1,000,002 questions like, why you need this money? What you need this for? When I getting this back? Me, when I ask, pay back. I don't pay back money my parents give me. For what? No. They know they ain't seeing that. But then I can give it back to them eventually. But I'm pretty sure it's not as easy for a guy to ask as it is for a female to ask for help. So I feel like that's a good point for us to end this conversation on because that is something that we really need in our communities. And it's kind of unfortunate that men have to go through so much hard times and hardships and buck their toe and mess up or end up in jail or end up in problems before they end up on the right track because of that lack of guidance. And it's also kind of sad because it's a lot of men in our communities who are making a lot of money, who are the investors, who are the leaders, who are the chairmen of certain boards that aren't speaking out and saying that, no, we need more men programs. It's too much women in this room. Not saying that I don't want us women to, do our thing. Big ups to us. Her story. I here for it. But it is important for men to also be up there with us too, because someone got to help us raise these babies. And someone have to help us build these families together. And I ain't taking care of no man. That just ain't my style. But I would love for there to be men who are on these levels with us. It can't just be us women winning and killing it all the time. We need to create these safe spaces and have these safe dialogues like how me and you are having to talk about the problems men are facing and some of the issues and stuff, because that leads to a lot of mental struggles as well for a lot of the men in our community. So how do you feel about that as well as we start to wrap up this conversation?
When it comes to mental struggles, at the end of the day, seek help.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is seek help, and because you don't want to go down a path where it gets worse.
Yeah.
So you figure, if you're at a point where it's like, okay, things ain't things right now, bills piling up, I trying to, support this family, take care of myself, and I'm not mentally stable. The best thing to do is seek help, because we don't know how strong we are in a sense. Like we can only handle so much, and when that breaking point hits, it's like everything collapses. So.
Definitely. But I really do appreciate you coming out to the show and talking with me. So you guys make sure to check out Jordy Knowles, Rykno Tech Solutions. It's coming at you very, very soon. We'll definitely bring you back on the podcast very soon, man. After you make some more strides with the business, after you land this next big program or something that you in. You are in another program right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I wish you all the best with that, of course. We definitely can collaborate on some stuff in the very near future. Thank you so much, you guys who've been tuning into the show. Make sure you guys are always logged in with Islandish Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with another episode next week. New guests, same time. Peace out.